It is now 6 p.m. on Monday, the 15th. Welcome to our regular meeting of the Calimesa City Council. And thank you for attending and listening to me talk. I feel sorry for you. But, Darlene, could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Councilmember Cervantes?
Here.
Councilmember Manley?
Here.
Councilmember Molina?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hewitt?
Here.
Mayor Davis?
I'm here. And then we have City Manager Cobo, City Attorney Barrow, City Clerk Gertis, Finance Director Reed, Planning Director Lucia, Public Works Associate Engineer Zakari, City Engineer Thornton, Fire Chief O'Connell, and Sheriff Lieutenant Olson. Mr. O'Connell, you want to lead us in the pledge, please? Approval of the agenda and waiver of full reading of ordinances. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Communications from the public. We actually have one. Ms. Delaney?
Good evening, council members and mayor. Hearing is not always listening. Did anyone listen when I said that I will never say that there is any wrongdoing unless I have proof? Did you listen that I said it appears that Mayor Davis is in a certain business according to federal code identifiers? I stated FPPC facts. I stated what a business owned by a voting member could legally, without conflict of interest, do. I never stated what someone had done, was doing, or would do. I stated what could be done. When researching, I was looking for legalities and governance, not wrongdoing. If you go back and listen to what I said on March 20th, you will hear no attacks or claims, because I don't need them. There is plenty of research to document the respiratory, cardiovascular, reproductive, neurological, cancer, and community harms that come from warehousing the towns we live in, and not everyone can move away. I heard and listened that Mayor Davis won't accept campaign contributions. It was said that he doesn't want to show any evidence of bias. In comments, I have been interrupted, told when I was done, and never been allowed to go past 3 minutes to 4 minutes and 35 seconds, partly because I don't entitle myself to that liberty, and partly because I have been interrupted by more than one person, and there is no evidence of bias. No bias may not be the experience of every Calimesa resident. But I'm glad that there is no evidence of bias. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I get somebody to make a motion on the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 12 on the consent calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody here got anything they want to pull, or? Okay, can I get a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
Huh? No, we just got it. I thought we have to do that to get it approved. I got my ass chewed last time because we didn't go through that.
Oh, well, you
Just for clarification, is that the new process?
That's
We,
we'll have to ask the attorney.
okay.
Actually, we did make some revisions to the agenda after last meeting. So that was done during approval of the agenda. So that motion was to approve the consent calendar. So we're all good.
That's all we need.
My fault
Okay.
then. I apologize.
No problem.
Okay, the person representing the chamber isn't here right now. They're on the road, so hopefully they'll be here in a little bit. We'll go straight over to Mr. Olson. Lieutenant, you get stuck.
I wasn't expecting to go 6 minutes into the meeting. Mr. Mayor, council members, Kev is on station servicing Calamasa, responded to 247 calls since our last council meeting, which was May 1st, and there was 26 files related to traffic, whether it was traffic stops or assisting motorists. There was 13 alarm calls, residential and business alarms. There was 6 misdemeanor theft calls, 5 felony theft calls. There was 1 stolen vehicle and 1 stolen vehicle recovered. And that is it for the statistics, unless anyone has any questions. Okay.
I'd like to commend your department. My house has a new alarm system. It went off 3 times thanks to animals, and your people came within minutes. So thank you for great service.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question, Mayor, or Lieutenant. So I heard unfortunate news about an officer in San Jacinto. Any update on, was there an accident?
We
a traffic
received a notification yesterday that the deputy has passed.
Ah,
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
And they're, I believe, they're doing a procession and stuff tomorrow, but, yeah, we got word, I think it was yesterday that he had passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fire Chief, comments and reports.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Year-to-date, your fire department's responded to 613 calls for service, 419 medical aids, 11 fires, 30 auto aid or mutual aid responses given, 7 auto aid or mutual aid responses received. Of the 30 we responded, we were canceled 12 of those times, and 134 miscellaneous calls for service. And I'd like to reiterate to the public and council again that your fire department and the Fire Prevention Bureau is actively engaged in weed abatement, community risk reduction in and around the city. To include, for everybody's edification, I've received a lot of phone calls and some interest along the I-10 corridor on both of the embankments. We've been in continuous contact with Caltrans, with our Public Works Department, trying to get that cleaned up and mitigate those areas as well. And pending your questions, that's the end of my report.
Go ahead. No? Are people moving along as far as clearing?
Yes, people are compliant. We are taking an educational approach, really trying to work with our citizenry and be informative and accommodating and working with people. But we're going out above and beyond, but people are compliant. And week before last, I attended the Southern California Association of Forestry and Fire Wardens Conference, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out we've got a lot of water this year, and the heavy fuel is very wet and is very optimistic. However, all the experts are leaning towards the fact that we're going to get those grass, flashy fuel type fires that move very quickly. So again, our folks are out looking for those right-of-ways behind properties, the problem areas that we can't get to, where the grass gets going with a little bit of wind on the fire in that grass, and we can't get to the structure. So we're asking the folks to really abate those problems. So.
I thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Chamber of Commerce reports.
Good evening, Mayor Davis, Council. I apologize for my tardiness. I came from Irvine and I left at 3:45.
You made good time.
It kept growing and growing and growing, and then it shrank a little bit. So let me just pull up, and I apologize for reading off my phone, but I didn't have time to print it out. This was a surprise to me that I was doing this. My name's Heather Perry. I am a board member for the Chamber of Commerce. The council report, or I should say the chamber report, the breakfast meeting review. Our May breakfast was well attended. Ben Lopez from the Inland Empire Economic Partnership did a great presentation on the state legislation that affects businesses in the Inland Empire. For the June breakfast meeting, our guest speaker will be Mickey Valdivia from the San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency. The meeting will be on June 13th at Cafe Royale. Our upcoming events, our scholarship program, we're very happy to report that the council, or to the council, jeez, road eyes. Let me see. We have chosen 9 students from the Pass area to receive scholarships from the Calimesa Chamber. We will be celebrating these students and their accomplishments at our scholarship tea on May 25th at the Edward Dean Museum in Cherry Valley. Supervisor Gutierrez will be our keynote speaker. We hope that the City Council will join us. Tickets will be $30 per person and can be purchased on our website, or you can call Donna at the Chamber office. We have sponsorship opportunities as well, so that'll be about 2 weeks from now. As far as membership, we have 1 new member, 11 membership renewals, for a total of 148 members. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mayor and council members reporting of county and regional meetings. John?
I was not required to attend any meetings, so that'll conclude my report.
Linda?
Yes, I have just a couple of things. On May 3rd, I attended the Riverside Transit Agency board meeting, and one of the things discussed was the operating budget and capital budget for fiscal year 23-24 was approved, and the short-range transit plan. These are required every year to qualify them to get funding for public transportation, and that passed. Also, as the delegate for the Calimesa, I attended the SCAG General Assembly. That was in Palm Springs on May 4th and 5th at no expense to the city. And so the action taken there was recognizing the outgoing board and welcoming in the new board. Carmen Ramirez was a director who was in line to be president of SCAG, and she passed away suddenly, and so they honored her with in memoriam, a presidency in memoriam. She was from Ventura and a very active member of SCAG. Also, they approved the 23-24 general fund budget and membership assessment schedule. The membership fund is based on the city's populations, the member cities' population. And so for Calimesa, our attendance is our population. I can my tongue tied tonight. Our population is 10,899, and our assessment is $1,504. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I did attend a WRCOG Executive Committee meeting on May 1st, and it wasn't a whole lot, but we went over the approval of a fiscal year 2023-24 agency budget. There were a few things dues for WRCOG general membership, solid waste, and clean cities were discussed. Changes for all 3 were proposed. However, only dues for solid waste and clean cities are being proposed for the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget, with a phase in for the clean cities dues. Additionally, changes will be addressed over the next fiscal year after further analysis. The fellowship program will continue to operate with its current funding structure. However, additional options such as fundraising, sponsorship, and support will be addressed, trying to raise money for that. Several changes were made to WRCOG's budget resolution, including clarification of the executive director's authority and making changes to the budget and budget authority surrounding the IREN. And then I attended an admin and finance for WRCOG on the 10th. There wasn't a whole lot with that. I did ask them about when their audit was going to be posted on their website, and they're hoping to get it finished by next month. So that was it.
I have no report on county or regional meetings, Mayor, so that's it. You know, I believe I gave my RCA report last meeting, so, yep. But they haven't spent any money that I'm aware of in the interim, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to item 13. Animal Control and Services. Will?
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. This item is to consider an ordinance related to our animal services contract that we will be considering at the June 19th meeting with the County of Riverside. So I'm going to explain why that is. So some background on this item. The city had previously approved a contract with the county, had a contract with the county until 2010. And then Beaumont, the city of Beaumont, we contracted with them for animal control services up until this point. In August of 2022, Beaumont informed the city that they would no longer have the capacity to service the city and would be ending services effective July 1st, 2023. So we do appreciate the advance notice because that allowed us to explore our options. Staff looked at various options, including the city of Banning, but they indicated to us that their shelter is having capacity impacts as it is, so adding our services would probably put them over the edge. The Ramona Humane Society was another option that we looked at that's used in the San Jacinto Valley. They are providing services to the city of Hemet, but they will be exiting the animal control services arena. We also contacted the County of Riverside, and we also did look at the San Bernardino County just because they do services for the city of Yucaipa. However, they don't provide services outside of San Bernardino County. So based on cost and ability to provide services and meeting with their staff, we were very impressed with the staff of the Department of Animal Control Services, we are recommending that the city contract with the Riverside County Department of Animal Services. We do need to work with the county on clarifying which shelter will be used for the city. So there's a shelter in the city of Jurupa Valley, and also one out in Thousand Palms. Both of them are about the same distance. One is each way, so not ideal for distance-wise. The San Jacinto facility that they have is currently not operating as a shelter at this time, so those will be the two options. But we just need to clarify with the county on that, and we will have that before we consider the contract next month. The contract will be based on services actually utilized. The estimated cost is based on current actual statistics, as we do not utilize enough services to justify having a dedicated animal control officer, which would run approximately $280,000 a year. The estimated annual cost is $61,000, and that includes $6,000 for a spay, neuter, and licensing clinics. This is an increase of $12,711 over the current contract with the city of Beaumont, and that increase will be included in the fiscal year 23-24 proposed budget. So the items for consideration for tonight and updates to the city's ordinance. The current animal control ordinance, which is Title VI of the Calimesa Municipal Code, currently references the city of Beaumont's animal control ordinance with some exceptions as outlined in our own ordinance. We will need to repeal the city's current Title VI and consider the county's animal control ordinance, which will also be adopted by reference with some exceptions. When adopting an ordinance by reference, state law requires that the City Council hold a public hearing for the ordinance after the first reading, meaning that the public hearing will occur during the second reading. There must be at least 14 days between the first and second reading, so we cannot hold the second reading until June 19th. Ordinances take effect 30 days after adoption, meaning that the new ordinance would not go into effect until July 19th. However, since services must commence on July 1st, staff is recommending the adoption of an urgency ordinance with an effective date of July 1st in order to continue to provide animal control services until the new ordinance takes effect. Therefore, the recommended actions tonight are as follows. Introduce ordinance number 390 for first reading, which would adopt the county animal code by reference and amend the Calamasa Municipal Code. 2, adopt ordinance 390-U, the related urgency ordinance and declaration of urgency. And 3, set a public hearing for the adoption of ordinance number 390 for June 19th, 2023. The contract with Riverside County Department of Animal Control will also be considered at the public hearing. That concludes my report. And Kim Youngberg, the Assistant Director for Animal Control Services, is also here tonight. And her or I can answer any questions you may have in regards to this item. Thank you.
Have you guys got any questions for Kim? You got kids, no animals? Is that it? I've got a couple questions. Can you come up here, Kim? You know, we've been involved in several fires over here over the years, and I know the animals. I've had 50 horses taken off my property at one time, and they scattered. You know, what kind of facilities do you have a grounds for large animals, or is it all small?
We absolutely do. So in the event of an emergency, we would open up our San Jacinto Valley Animal Campus, which we just used in the recent Fairview fire, and we were able to help residents with their pets up into the numbers of over 300. We also have agreements with the Paris Fairgrounds to be able to set up temporary corrals that we can get up within hours. The San Jacinto Animal Campus also has a barn with stalls, and it's I think a 7-acre campus, so we can set up pens and things like that, you know, out back there. We also have a volunteer team that we train and work with called the Riverside Emergency Animal Response System, and they're a group of volunteers that come in that have experience with large animals and have horse trailers and equipment. You know, we have a certain number of horse trailers and stuff too, but as you pointed out, if there's 50 horses to move, you know, we can assemble that crew and be ready to transport 50 horses within, you know, a moment's notice.
In a time of emergency, it's amazing how many people come out. And like I had horses all the way down to Bonsall.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it just, I got them all back.
That's great.
Yeah, but, you know, take it. Get out of here. You know, so it's a very hard business, and I know what you have to go through. So
Thank you.
I thank you. Anybody? Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, can I get some motions?
I can,
Up to that guy.
yeah, I'll go.
Yes, and I've talked to one of the council members about that. Let's take number 1, which is the introduction of the ordinance number 390 first.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
I need to, oh, you want me to read it, correct?
Yeah, read the
Okay.
title.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and read them one at a time. Okay. I'll make a motion to waive the full reading and introduce ordinance number 390 by title only, and ordinance of the City of Calamasa adopting reference Title 6, Animal of the Riverside County Code as the city's animal control ordinance, and amending the Calamasa Municipal Code.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. And I'll make a motion to waive the full reading and adopt urgency ordinance number 390-U by title only, and urgency ordinance of the City of Calamasa adopting by reference Title 6, Animal of the Riverside County Code as the city's animal control ordinance, amending the Calamasa Municipal Code and declaring the urgency thereof.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we set a public hearing for the adoption of ordinance number 390 for June 19th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is quick and dirty.
So for the benefit of the public, there'll be a public hearing on this ordinance 390 on June 19th, 2023. It's going to be noticed and published in accordance with state law.
Okay, council members, comments and reports. Anything, any trivia you guys want to throw on me?
Just have a couple things real quick. Just wanted to point out a couple of things as summer's coming for some of these kids to do. So there's Yucaipa Pickleball Club. They're putting on a pickleball clinic coming up in June. So that's for adults and for the youth. And so the signups are open now, but it starts June 19th. It's a couple weeks. It's 1 to 3 p.m. It's Monday and Wednesday, so it's 2 consecutive weeks, so it's 4 total sessions. And that's going to be at Yucaipa Community Center. You can register through the city of Yucaipa for that. It's $30, but it's the adult and the kid clinic, youth clinic is simultaneous, so you can bring the kids there, and then the adults are in one class, the kids are in the other, so something to check out for the summer. Also, just want to highlight just one of our local businesses that has a lot to offer for the kids. So Believe Athletics, if you haven't heard of that, just so one of our local gyms in town. They have a variety of classes for gymnastics and tumbling for kids of all different ages, so all different times. They start as early as 1 and 2 for those classes. And they all have all different skill levels also. They also have a cheerleading season that's approaching. So if you're interested in a cheerleading season over there, you can start as young as 3, I believe. So they have an informational meeting for those interested in the cheerleading. That's Tuesday, May 23rd at 6 p.m. So you can check out their website if you're interested in any of that stuff for the kids. And that's all I have.
That's a lot. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, quickly, I just want to give a shout out to the students, well, all the students who are graduating, but in particular at Crafton Hills College. There's commencement next week is Wednesday, May 24th, and several hundred students are going to be graduating with their AAs and certificates, and many of them transferring, some of them going into the workforce. So it's always a great time to celebrate that. I also want to announce there is also another groundbreaking ceremony going to be taking place at Crafton Hills. It's May 31st at 2 p.m. It's for the new Performing Arts Center.
Yeah.
They're going to be breaking ground on a 24,000 square foot performing arts venue, modern, state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be great. So that's going to take place on, again, May 31st. And at 2 p.m. So I also just want to highlight what John said about the Believe Athletics. That is a great place. My youngest daughter does weekly classes there in tumbling and competitive cheer. It is such a thing, you know, and she loves it there. It's a great local business. So yeah, glad you threw that out there. That's all I have, Mayor.
Linda?
I neglected to mention, on May 10th, I attended an RCTC meeting. Those meetings are now all in person. This meeting was held, instead of in Riverside, it was in Palm Desert. It was quite a drive. But they approved their van pool program subsidy increase from $400 to $600 a month. A lot of the electeds will use the van pools to come to meetings in Riverside. Also on May 3rd, there was, through Cal City's coordination, there was a Zoom meeting with new Senator Steve Padilla, where several of us were able to talk about the things that we want for our cities and the county. And I also wanted to let everyone know that the free lunch program here in Calumet at 4th Street Park is going to start on the 19th at 10:30. It's going to be early, so the kids won't have to come out in, you know, the intense heat here. It's school food, but it's still something for the kids to do. I'll be working with the library to get some fun things for them to do as well. And then I wanted to make a sad announcement. A very good friend of mine for 45 years passed away on Mother's Day, Gloria Molina. I came from Los Angeles and kind of grew up with her. And she was very accomplished. She was an assemblywoman, councilwoman, supervisor. and really a cheer for women's causes and equity in government. And so she'll be sorely missed. That's all. And I'm very sorry for the officer we've lost. Thank you.
Wendy, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Well, this is one you ought to be paying attention to, is because some of us are a little bit rural. You know, it's even if you're not, it's you know, it's like your homes and everything else. There's snakes up there. You know, and the coyotes are out. I've got a pack of coyotes working off my place every night. But I've actually seen hawks flying around with snakes, which I haven't seen in a long time. So it seems it didn't look like they were rattlesnakes, but I'm expecting to. I used to catch about 15 rattlesnakes on my property every year, and I haven't really seen more than a couple the last couple of years. But I don't know if the roadrunners are taking care of it or what. I've got 2 families of roadrunners on the property too, so they're running in and out of my shop with lizards in their mouth. So, but be careful. And also with the heat coming up, it's get out of the sun. Us over 21 people, it can really be drastic to you if you don't pay attention and get hydrated. So with that, I will turn it over to the city manager.
Thank you. Good evening once again, Mayor and members of the council. Just wanted to give a quick update on some confusion that occurred with the closure of Cherry Valley Boulevard at I-10. So there are some planned 24/7 closures at the interchange that are coming up. One was supposed to start on May 7th and run through May 18th. However, once we got wind of that, which was through their posts, their updates to their website, which, you know, is a little bit unnerving that's how we found out about it, that both the city manager of Beaumont and I found out about it. So we got on a call quickly with the project team over there and got them to push back their plans till after the school year at least, and give us a little more time to do some better planning on that closure and the related detour. There are several inherent problems with the detour that they have planned, so we're going to work with them to try to make that better, to try to minimize the impact. It's going to have an impact, there's no doubt about it, but at least we can try to work together with them to minimize that impact. And I just want to reemphasize for the public that this is a interim improvement that is happening, which means that it's kind of phase 1. So we're still actively engaged in the process to construct ultimate improvements at the Cherry Valley interchange. We're still in the project acceptance and environmental document stage. We're hoping to get final approval on that later this summer. And once we have that approval on the environmental document, that'll clear the way for us to start right of way and final design and then get into construction. So really that's the kind of the key piece that you need to make a project shovel ready and really get the funding lined up for construction. That will be a significant project, probably in this, you know, when it's all said and done with all the phases, probably about a $60 to $70 million project. So it's very significant, but it's sorely needed for our community. So we are diligently working on increasing the capacity, but I just want to make sure people know that once those lights are done, that doesn't mean we're done improving that intersection. So I just want to make that clarification. Tomorrow night, the Yucaipa Calamasa Joint Unified School District will be holding their board meeting that we will be considering the agreement for the summer feeding program, the one that we had previously approved. And so I will be attending. I believe Councilmember Molina will also be attending that tomorrow night. The Riverside County Transportation Commission recently did a call for projects for potential award. I am pleased to announce that we are a part of that slate of projects. We will be we are on the list to receive $5.2 million for funding for the realignment of Calamasa Boulevard at Cherry Valley. So that is kind of connected to the improvements there. We have to realign Calamasa Boulevard as part of that project. So we're going to get, hopefully, you know, that's been approved, recommended for approval by both the WRCOG Public Works Committee and the RCTC Technical Advisory Committee. And both the WRCOG Executive Committee and the RCTC Board will have final approval on the slate of those projects, so we're hoping that those get approved. Also, speaking of funding, Congress has, or the House of Representatives has what they call community project funding. That's the new term for earmarks. And I'm pleased to report that out of the 15, each council member, each congressman or congressperson has 15 projects that they can bring forward, and they rank them in order of priority. And I'm pleased to report that 2 of our 3 projects that were submitted were ranked number 2 and number 3 on Ken Calvert's list, which means that they have a very high probability of being funded. Those projects are the Calimesa Boulevard and County Line Road intersection improvements for $4 million. And the interesting thing about that is that's half in Calimesa and half in Yucaipa. So we were originally trying to get $2 million to get our half of it, but Ken Calvert actually stepped up and is funding the whole thing. So that was very, very good news for us and the city of Yucaipa, for that matter. And then the other project that is ranked number 3 in its priorities is a new emergency operations center that would be a part of the fire station that's proposed out in Summerwind. That's for $1 million. So, and I want to commend and thank the mayor and for his efforts on that. When we met with Ken Calvert, there was an instant connection there, and I think the mayor's direct approach and no nonsense approach really had a positive effect on the congressman, and I think that that impression is what directly led to our projects ranking so high on that list. So I want to congratulate you and thank you, Mayor, for that. Finally, I will be launching a new city podcast. I'll be recording the first episode this Friday. I'm going to talk about what does a city manager actually do. I ask that myself sometimes. Because it's a little bit, especially in this city, because we have a small staff, so it's a little bit of everything. So I'm going to get into that. It's going to be a monthly thing that I'm going to record, just about 20 minutes. We're going to cover different topics every month, and it's kind of similar to what we do at the land use workshop. It's just the how and the why. How do the wheels turn here at City Hall? And I think people need to have a better understanding of how things work. So we're going to try to explain that. So keep an eye on our website and social media pages for the link. And then we have our budget workshop next Monday here at the Senior Center at 3:30 p.m. and that will also be broadcast on our normal platforms. That's all I've got. Thank you.
I thank you, and I hope you mothers had an enjoyable weekend. It was your day, and you're much appreciated, believe me. So it's the city manager, he had got called to action and had to do a lot of gardening for his wife and a little bit of cooking and everything else. And so it's a very important day, and I hope you all had an enjoyable day. With that, I'm going to adjourn the regular meeting to the City Council to Monday, June 5th at 6 p.m., and I thank you for coming.